Hi, it's Susie from Nail Career Education, and if you have some pencil crayons and water, we can paint some flowers together. Let me show you how we can do it. Let's get started. Okay, so the pencil crayons and the water is really actually quite cool. So I'm starting my nails rather short this time with a white gel base that's cured and ready to go. You can also do this with nail polish. Just let your nail polish dry completely and you can paint right on top of it. So I've got my little dish of water and I'm going to show you the little brushes. Look at these. These do different things, but I want to show you how tiny they really are. I'm putting my hand in behind it so you can see the size difference between my nail and the brush. They're quite tiny. I may not use them all, but I just want them here. I'm going to be armed with them. So if you've got a little brush kicking around, that's what you need. You want a paper towel to absorb the water when you're cleaning your brush. And we're going to need a piece of paper, just a regular old drawing paper. So I've got my pencil crayons here. Any old pencil crayons will do. Oh, that's way louder than I expected. Okay.
Ouch. I got headphones on. That hurt.
I'm going to work with blue and purples, I think. So you want to get your purple ready. I'm going to pick this darker purple. And if here, these particular pencils, it has the color on the end. And I might try a little bit of the pink in here. I'm going to grab that. And I'm going to maybe a little bit of dark blue just to see some difference in kind of making a little darker shadowing. And I'm going to use the yellows for the center and the greens for some leaves. I'm going to focus, I think, mostly on the purple. So this is what you do. Look how easy this is. Just literally get some purple on there. And then I'm going to use this blue for a bit of a contrast, maybe some shading. How easy is this, eh? And I'm going to throw the pink in here just in case I want some light spots. You know, highlights. And then I'm going to put the green in here for the leaves. A little lighter green for different colored leaves. Okay, so there's my color palette for the first flower. Anyway, let's give this a try. So if anybody's wondering, on my other hand, I'm wearing 205 by Exclusive Nail Couture. It's a really pretty purple color. It'll go with my purple flowers. Okay, so there's different size flower petals you can make with certain size brushes. I'm going to pick this one for my first petals. Just going to get it. It's nice and wet with water. Okay, then I'm going to go to the piece of paper with all my pencil crayon on there. And I'm literally just going to, like I'm making paint, just going to pick it up. And then I'm just going to put my first petal down. Yes, it's very, very light. Okay, so I get my brush nice and wet with water. Then I'm going to go on to here and then make a petal. Now, even though you're doing it with water, it does actually dry pretty quickly. It's a watercolor look, so you want it to be very light looking. So I'm going to let that dry for a little bit. And I'm going to get one of my really fine brushes. Actually, I'm going to use this one. I'm going to do the center. So just in my yellow, just gathering the color, I'm going to put it in the center. My goal here is I'm trying to make a watercolor pansy. Back to the yellow. Just want a little bit more. Pansies have that really pretty yellow center. And then I'm going to get my really fine one and I'm going to get the tip of it and I'm going to put it in the water and then I'm going to go to the blue. Maybe a little more water because it's a little brush, so you got to get a bit more water on there. And just roll the paint through it. And I'm going to use it a little bit to outline my flower. Yeah, it's very, very fine detail. But we just want sort of a hint of a flower. One color I forgot is my black. And I want a little bit of black because I want to do, like, center of daisies sometimes have quite a dark center and almost black, really. Put my black over here. Don't need too much because we're just making the center. But I do want that as dry. I'm going to make sure that's dry. And I'm going to take my very, very tiny brush and I'm going to get some water in it. I'm going to go to the black pencil crayon. I don't need a ton of this. I just need enough to get the center. You know how it's kind of spiky, like it's bleeding into. Now, sometimes you can get it to do that just with the water that's on here. Tiny, tiny little lines. Don't drink coffee before this. You want to have a steady hand. Now I'm going to go into the green and I'm going to try to make a little leaf. Now leaves are kind of a bit of an edge. I'll go like this. I don't really know what a leaf for a pansy would look like. The idea is just to get something green in there. There, that's cute. So I might need a little bit more highlights in there. I'm going to go to the black again. Not quite sure I know what I'm doing with it yet, but see if I can put little lines in there. Just to try to make it look kind of, oops, it's a little heavy. I'm going the wrong way. It's hard when I'm trying to do it for the camera. If it was myself, I'd be going like that. It's a little harder. See if I can make just the finest little line there. And I'm going to get a little bit of light green. Yeah, it just gives it a little bit of dimension. Now, I'm not sure if I like the black along the side, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a little bit more purple and see if I can just define it a little with the purple. See how it's kind of softening that black? That might be better. You can also kind of take it away a little. See how I'm just lessening it? Oh, that's pretty. Ooh, I like that. Okay, I'm going to maybe add another little leaf in there. A little more green because the leaf looks a little uncomfortable. Just going to maybe go up here a little. It's very watercolory. It's kind of pretty. Now I'm going to try a bit of a different brush. Here's one that's kind of long and skinny, but depending on how you press it, it can have wider points on it. Let's see if we like this one. Just going to get it. Lots of water on it. And I'm going to go on my paper again. Okay, I'm going to get lots of blue. Okay, and sometimes you can go, you press a little wider and then come down to a point. See that petal? See if we can make another petal. I'm getting a lot of paint out of this one. Haven't even dipped it yet. Okay, so I'm going to try a different color. So I'm going to get rid of this paper palette. And I'm going to get a new one. So here's the darker red. This is like an orangey red. And then here's a brighter orange. It's pretty. And here's that yellow for the center. I'm trying to do a pansy. I'm not a flower painter. I'd like to be. If I practice more, maybe. Okay, here's my thumb. Okay, I'm going to do the darker red first. Now this is a big surface. I'm going to see if I can make a bit bigger of a pansy. you can really manipulate the paint with inside the circle that you're trying to do. And wherever you leave it is sort of like a shadow. So I'm going to try to put that in the centers. Okay, this could be just 3 blobs. I don't know yet. And I'm going to go right to the orangey orange. I'm sort of making it a little bit dimensional, right? See how I did that? A little bit lighter, but trying to keep the red to the outside. And clean that off my paper towel now. I'm going to go back into the water. And now I'm going to go for the yellow. And I'm going to hit right there. Although it's too much orange on there still. I'm going to sop it up a little. Oops, there's a speckle of blue somewhere. You know, that's a glitter from last week. We're just going to have to work with it. It's not wanting to go anywhere. I'm going to lighten this up. See, I did do it too dark. I don't think I like that. I'm going to lighten it a little. Ooh, kind of pretty. So I've learned I need to let it dry before I put on too much color. If you want the colors to blend together, then do them wetter. But if you don't want them to blend, make sure it's dry. I'm going to go into my yellow again. Yeah, see? And you can see that nice and yellow. I don't want much yellow in that one. Just in this one, the big one. I'm going to go into the black now. Let's see if I can make it look something like a flower. Oh, again, brush is too big. No, I don't want this brush. I always forget that. See the little brush I got? Back to that little pointy one. And sometimes I've noticed when it's pansies, they have lines. It's got the center blackness, and then it has these gentle lines. It's starting to look a little bit more like a flower. This is like the tiniest canvas ever to work on. Are there tinier canvases in the world? What else would you work on that was really...
I think some scientists made something
out of rice.
Atoms, like three atoms.
That's really small.
A few atoms.
You're going real small.
To make something. I can't remember what it was.
Ooh, this is a darker purple. I thought it was the same one I grabbed. I've heard that they are painting it on rice, which of course is...
That's pretty tiny.
I'm sure your atoms are much tinier than rice.
Yeah, well, they weren't painting on atoms. They manipulated them to create something.
Right. Maybe I'll put a little leaf in there. Kind of bright, isn't it? Yeah, I think that one's better. Okay. It's something I'd actually really like to get good at. Do a little studying on shadowing and shapes of flowers and petals. How the light falls on that. I'd like to look into that. I'm gonna get a little dark green. Okay, I guess I can play around with the other ones a little. Centers do they have? Maybe I should do orange. Do orange for a center, orangey red. And let it dry. And maybe we'll do some little like spiky points in the center. So it's a little dark coming out. In my opinion, I really hate that. That looks terrible. That looks like my 6-year-old kid did that and I put it on the fridge.
I'll put it on the fridge.
It's terrible. I don't mind those ones so much. And I can live with that one.
The yellow is my favorite one.
It is not. You're lying. It's a terrible liar.
I like it.
It's a terrible liar. I can see that I would have to brush up on my skills for flowers, but I just wanted to give you the idea of what you can do with something you might have at home. You know what? It's the beauty of this. You can erase it.
Oh, my favorite one.
You're lying.
You did that out of spite.
You're a terrible, terrible liar. Okay. It's gone. That never happened.
Oh.
I don't know what I'm going to do for the other ones now. Maybe I'm just going to do more of the same and I'm just going to get better. Well, I'd like to think I was better at flowers than I am. But with all this mess, you'd think I would be. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so off camera, I went ahead. It's a little easy for me to paint it this way. It's really hard to do it this way, especially when I'm not that good at it. But I was able to manage to get a few more down, and now I'm going to top coat them. You can use a nail polish top coat or a gel top coat. So I'm going to put a very thin layer. You just want to make sure that the water, as in the watercolor and the pencil crayon, are dry. Sometimes things look better under a shiny coat. This one I added a few more swirls just to see what we can make it look like. Okay. And because I use gel, I'm just going to give it a bit of a cure. That'll be 30 seconds in an LED and 60 seconds in an UV. As soon as we're dry, we're going to check out the reveals. So I just wanted to show you something a little different with something you might actually have at home. It's kind of fun to do something different. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate that. And if you guys are interested in Instagram, I'm at Nail Career Education. I'd love to see what you can do. I'll see you soon.